I want you to try a little experiment for me, just for a second. Look around the room you're in right now. Or the train car. Or, the gym.
Please don't be at the gym.
If you're listening to this, I'm assuming you are a biological entity. Carbon-based. You breathe air. You probably pay taxes. I'm assuming I am one too, though. Some days, looking at the ticket queue, it's debatable.
Yeah, the caffeine is pretty much the only thing proving I exist this morning. It's my personal Turing test.
Right. But here is the problem. If we stop looking at the physical world for a second and just look at the digital transaction happening right now, this file moving from a server to your device, statistically speaking, the odds that you are the only human involved in this entire chain are, well, they're uncomfortably high.
It's the solipsistic nightmare scenario, isn't it? We used to joke about this in Philosophy 101, that you can't prove other minds exist.
Yeah, that was a fun thought experiment.
But now we have the server logs. And the logs suggest that, for the most part, they don't, at least not online.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are talking about the dead internet theory. And I want to set the ground rules immediately. We are not doing the spooky ghost story version.
No, definitely not.
We aren't doing the version where the government is beaming thoughts into your molars through 5G powers.
No tinfoil hats today. We are far too tired for tinfoil. We've run out of foil.
We're doing a tired middle management engineer version, the version that relies on ad tech stacks, click-through rates, and, frankly, some very lazy coding.
Which, to be honest, is infinitely more depressing than the conspiracy theory.
Well, way more.
If it were a grand conspiracy, at least there'd be a plan. Someone would be at the wheel,
Yeah.
This is just a runaway train. It's an unintended script running as a cron job that nobody remembers writing and nobody knows how to turn off.
We've pulled a pretty massive stack of research for this one. We have a study from the Notre Dame Mendoza College of Business on bot interference. We have technical papers from the Arxiv preprint server on something they call computational creativity.
A generous term.
A very generous term. We've also got data from the University of New South Wales and transcripts from the Alan Turing Institute.
And the consensus across all of these, if you actually connect the dots and synthesize the data, is that the internet isn't dead in the sense that the servers are off.
Right, the lights are on.
The lights are on, but nobody's home.
Oh.
It's dead in the sense that it's a zombie. It is shambling around, making a lot of noise, bumping into walls, consuming resources. But there's no intent. There's just nothing behind the eyes.
We built a machine to connect all of humanity, and instead we built a machine that just talks to itself while we sort of watch from the sidelines.
Trying to find a skip ad button that doesn't actually exist anymore. Just takes you to another ad.
Before we get into the heavy stats, the imperva numbers, and this concept of the inversion, we have to talk about the mascot of this whole phenomenon. I feel like we can't do this topic justice without addressing the shrimp Jesus.
Ah, yes. The shrimp Jesus. Our Lord and Savior, the patron saint of the dead internet.
For the listener who has somehow managed to curate their feed well enough to avoid this glorious spectacle, can you explain what we are looking at here? Because I'm looking at the image from the Arxiv paper right now, and it is objectively a distress signal from a dying culture.
It represents a total catastrophic collapse of aesthetic standards, yes.
Okay.
It is exactly what it sounds like. It is an AI-generated image mid-journey, or stable diffusion usually, of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
But his body, his face, his robes, they've been merged with the segmented carapace of a shrimp. Often he's underwater. Sometimes he's made of plastic bottles. I saw one where he was a flight attendant.
And just to be clear, these aren't obscure art projects. This isn't some digital daddyist movement in Berlin we're talking about.
And no, that's the absolute key.
Yeah.
If this were on DeviantArt with 5 favorites, we wouldn't be talking about it. But you look at the metrics on Facebook, and these posts will have 40, 50,000 likes, thousands of comments. And objectively, this is a hallucinogenic nightmare.
It's objectively terrible.
It's bad art. It's profoundly weird. It defies both theology and biology at the same time.
So a rational human being looks at this and says, why? Why is the Messiah a crustacean?
Right. A human asks, why? A bot simply executes. The comments under these posts aren't people confused by the biblical shrimp. The comments are just a solid wall of text saying, Amen. Beautiful. It's my birthday. Please bless me.
It's a feedback loop.
It is a completely closed loop of garbage data. A bot posts a picture of a shrimp. Another bot comments, Amen. The Facebook algorithm, which is just looking for engagement signals, it doesn't have an opinion on theology, sees this activity and says, wow, the user base really loves shrimp Jesus today. Engagement is up 400% in the crustacean messiah sector.
So it pushes the shrimp to more bots.
It pushes the shrimp to more bots, and maybe eventually to your poor grandmother who thinks it's a genuine expression of faith.
And that really brings us to the mission statement for this entire deep dive. We aren't here to debunk a conspiracy. We're here to look at the data that suggests the conspiracy theorists might have accidentally stumbled onto the truth just for the completely wrong reasons. They thought it was a grand plan to control the populace.
It turns out it's just lazy coding and capitalism.
It's always just capitalism, isn't it? But let's back up for a second. Let's trace the infection vector here. Where did this concept actually originate? Because dead internet theory sounds like something that crawled out of a creepypasta or a late-night AM radio show.
It essentially did. I mean, if you dig into the timeline, you can find the terminology bubbling up on places like 4chan around late 2019, early 2020. But the real manifesto, if you want to be generous and call it that, dropped in 2021.
Okay.
There was a user, and the user's name was Illuminati-Pirate.
Illuminati-Pirate, always a beacon of credibility. You just know you're in for a well-reasoned, evidence-based argument with a name like that.
On a forum called Agora Roads Macintosh Cafe, which is this niche retro tech board, so, not exactly the heart of public discourse. And they posted a thread titled, Dead Internet Theory. Most of the internet is fake.
And at the time, this was dismissed as schizoposting, right? That was the term.
Deeply. It was a paranoid rant. The user was claiming that the U.S. government and the AI industry were actively gaslighting the entire world to control the population. That's the strong version of the theory.
The capital C conspiracy. Top-down control. Men in black suits in a dark room, adjusting the sliders on reality.
Correct. But what's so fascinating is how this concept migrated. It escaped the containment of that fringe message board and somehow ended up in the Atlantic. It went to Forbes. Serious tech journalists started picking it up.
Why?
Because while the strong theory is almost certainly nonsense, the weak theory, or what I prefer to call the economic reality theory, is becoming empirically, measurably true.
And the weak theory being that nobody is actively trying to mind control you. They are just trying to sell ad space. And they fundamentally do not care if the eyeballs attached to the screen belong to a human or a Python script.
Precisely. It's not a conspiracy, it's a business model. It's just yield optimization on a planetary scale.
Yeah.
And this leads us to a concept that apparently YouTube engineers have started whispering about in private. They call it the inversion.
This was the part of the research notes that actually stopped me cold. The inversion. Break that down for us, because it sounds like a title for a sci-fi horror movie.
It might as well be. It's a legitimate data science fear. Think about how these massive algorithms work. YouTube, Twitter, Google search, all of them. They're trained on data. They look at user behavior to establish a baseline of what is normal.
And normal human behavior is messy. I watch a video, I pause it halfway through to get a drink, maybe I skip the boring part, I leave a comment that makes grammatical sense but is kind of a non sequitur. I act. Erratic.
Exactly. That is human behavior. It's noisy, it's unpredictable. But the inversion posits that we have reached a tipping point where the sheer volume of bot traffic is so high, we are talking billions and billions of automated interactions, that the entire data set is contaminated.
The signal-to-noise ratio completely flips.
The noise becomes the signal. That's the terrifying part. If, say, 60% of the traffic is bots and the bots are incredibly consistent, they never pause the video, they always watch the whole ad, they click the affiliate link immediately, the algorithm starts to learn that that behavior is the baseline.
So it starts treating the bots as the default user.
Yes. And that makes me, the human who skips around and gets bored and writes sarcastic comments, the anomaly.
You're the error term.
You are the error term in the equation. The system starts flagging you as the problem because you're acting too erratically. You're too human. The metrics on the dashboard don't care if you have a pulse. They just care that the line goes up. And if the bots are more consistent at making the line go up, the system optimizes for the bots.
That is the ultimate cynical take, isn't it? The system isn't broken.
Yeah.
It's working perfectly. We just aren't the customer anymore. We're not even the product.
We are the glitch. We introduce friction into a system that is designed for frictionless ad consumption.
But let's push back on this for a second. Is this just a feeling? Because engineers, we love to complain about bad data. It's our favorite pastime. Do we have hard numbers on this, or is this just a vibes-based analysis of the situation?
No, we absolutely have numbers. We have the Imperva bad bot reports. Imperva is a major cybersecurity firm. And they track this traffic globally across enterprise networks. So this is real-world data.
Okay, lay it out. What are the numbers?
In 2016, and this is a key date, They released a report saying that bots were responsible for 52% of all web traffic.
52%. In 2016, that was almost a decade ago. That was before the current AI boom. That was before GPT was a household name.
Exactly. And it hasn't gotten better. Their 2023 report put automated traffic at 49.6%. So basically, still half the internet is non-human. But the really scary part isn't the total number. It's the composition of that number.
What do you mean?
We saw a specific 2% rise recently that the report directly attributed to generative AI models scraping the web to train other AI models.
Oh, this is the Ouroboros effect.
This is the snake eating its own tail in real time. You have these massive AI models like the ones powering ChatGPT or Gemini that need unfathomable amounts of text to learn. But where do they get that text?
The open web.
The open web. But who is writing the text on the open web now? Increasingly, it's other AIs,
Yeah.
SEO farms, content mills.
So you have an AI scraping an article that was written by another AI to train a third AI on how to write like an AI.
It's like photocopying a photocopy of a photocopy.
Yeah.
Every time you do it, you lose a little bit of fidelity, you introduce artifacts. Eventually, all you get is black sludge. You get meaningless text that sounds grammatically correct but contains no actual information, no human insight.
I want to pivot to that Notre Dame study you mentioned earlier, because traffic is one thing. If a bot visits a website, who really cares? It burns some electricity, inflates some numbers. But the Notre Dame Mendoza College of Business study, The Effect of Bots on Human Interaction, suggests it's not just about bandwidth. It's fundamentally changing how we talk to each other.
This study was fascinating because it really went into the sociology of the bots. It wasn't just counting hits. They found that, yes, bots do increase user engagement metrics. When bots are present in an online community, there is more activity. There are more connections. The corporate dashboard looks exciting.
The shareholders are happy, the graph is going up and to the right, everyone gets their bonus.
Everyone gets their bonus, but the quality of the interaction drops off a cliff. To explain this, they created a taxonomy. They identified two main types of bots that are poisoning the well: reflexive bots and supervisory bots.
Let's break those down. Reflexive bots first. What's that?
Think of the Wikitext bot on Reddit. You post a link to a Wikipedia article, and the bot immediately replies with a neat summary of that article. It's a reflex, stimulus, response.
Right. It's helpful. Saves me a click.
It seems helpful. But the Notre Dame researchers found that as the number of these kinds of bots increases, you get more links between users on paper, but the conversation depth completely evaporates.
So instead of me posting a link and you reading it and us arguing about the nuances of the article for like 10 comments back and forth.
If you post the link, the bot summarizes it in 3 bullet points. Everyone upvotes the bot because it saved them a click and gave them the gist, and the conversation just ends. Dead. We optimize for efficiency, and we kill the discourse.
And the supervisory bots, what are those?
Those are the moderators, the automods that delete posts, filter keywords, enforce the rules of a community. The study found that as you rely more and more on supervisory bots for governance, the human community leaders become obsolete.
You don't need a human moderator to guide the culture of a forum if a script just nukes anything that violates Rule 4 within milliseconds.
Exactly. The human element of governance, of community building, of context, it just disappears. It sounds like we optimized the humanity right out of the community. We wanted efficient moderation and quick summaries, and what we got was a really noisy room where no one is actually listening to anyone else.
We replaced community with connectivity, and those are not the same thing at all.
Not even close. One is a feeling of belonging, the other is just packets moving through a switch.
It brings me back to the shrimp Jesus thing. We talked about the bots replying to bots, but there is an actual economy underneath that, right? It's not just art for art's sake.
Oh God, no. The goal is never art. The goal is purely extrinsic motivation. They are hacking engagement to sell things. This brings us directly to that Artiz paper on computational creativity.
Yeah.
It argues that these bots are exploiting very specific hardwired glitches in the human brain.
Like pareidolia, the face-seeing thing.
Pareidolia is a huge one. That's the psychological phenomena where you see faces in random patterns. You know, the face on Mars, the man in the moon.
Or Jesus in a piece of toast. Or in this case, Jesus in the spaghetti.
Exactly. The bot operators, or more likely the scripts running the accounts, have figured out that humans are hardwired to stop scrolling if they see a face. It's an evolutionary survival mechanism. We look for eyes. So they use AI to generate these bizarre images of spaghetti or clouds or shrimp that vaguely form a face, and the caption is always a command.
Close your eyes 70% and see magic. I hate that I've done this. I have squinted at my phone at the spaghetti Jesus. I've fallen for it.
We all have. It's a biological hack. And the moment you stop, even for a second, the algorithm records that dwell time. It knows it got you. But, it gets much darker than spaghetti. The paper discusses a technique they call pity farming.
This is the stuff that actually makes me genuinely angry. The spaghetti is funny in a stupid way. This is predatory.
It is. It's weaponized empathy. You will see these images of children, AI-generated children, so they have, like, 6 fingers and weirdly smooth skin, who look like they're starving or covered in mud, or they're AI-generated soldiers with prosthetic limbs, and they're always holding a birthday cake.
And the caption is always, "It's my birthday, no one blessed me," or "I am a veteran, can I get one? Amen."
It creates what the paper calls a deceptive framing. The image often includes a deep fake of the supposed creator, some humble-looking person holding the painting, to feign human authorship. They are exploiting human empathy. They are exploiting faith and pity to generate a fractional cent of ad revenue. It's pure emotional manipulation.
And that leads directly to the slop economy. We have to talk about these content farms. Inspiring Designs is the one the research highlighted, but there are thousands of them.
Inspiring Designs operates on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They just churn out what the internet has now correctly dubbed AI slop.
Yeah.
It's an endless stream of fictional products. Power tool toilets, cowboy hat showers.
Wait, back up. Power tool toilets, what does that even mean?
It means a toilet made out of DeWalt drills. It doesn't exist. It can't exist. Physics wouldn't allow it. The ergonomics would be a nightmare. But the image is bright yellow, it's weird as hell, and it stops the scroll.
And the text is just the filler.
The text is written by a large language model. The image is made by Stable Diffusion. And here's the grift. The comments and the description are full of affiliate links to Amazon.
But Amazon doesn't sell power tool toilets. I feel confident in saying they don't. I haven't checked, but I'm sure.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
The link just takes you to a generic Amazon search page for power tools, or a completely unrelated product like a plunger. But here's the trick. Because you clicked their affiliate link, a cookie is now set on your browser.
Ah, the attribution window.
Exactly. The 24-hour cookie. Now, if you buy anything on Amazon in the next 24 hours, toilet paper, a book, dog food, whatever, that content farm gets a commission.
They don't need to sell you the fake toilet.
They just need to tag you. They just need to get their hook in you so they get a cut of your real toilet paper purchase.
So they show me a fake toilet to trick me into giving them a commission on my real everyday life.
That is the entire economy of the dead internet in a nutshell. It is a pure grift pipeline. It's built on nothing.
It's arbitrage. They are arbitraging our curiosity, our sense of wonder at a ridiculous toilet.
They are arbitraging our confusion. And it works.
We talk about this being lazy or boring, but there is a level of automated cruelty here that we need to address. It's not just funny pictures. We have to talk about the fake obituary phenomenon. This comes from the Turing Institute transcript, and frankly, it makes the Amazon grift look like innocent child's play.
This is where the tired engineer persona really just turns into the depressed human persona. We have reached a point where we have automated grief for SEO. There's no other way to put it.
Walk us through the case of Brian Vastag and Beth Mazur, because this is haunting. It's a real-world example of the cost of this stuff.
It's a genuinely heartbreaking story. Beth passed away in December of 2023. A tragedy for her family, for her partner Brian, but for the ad tech bots, her death was just a data point. It was an event to be monetized.
Oh.
These marketers have set up scrapers automated bots that just constantly monitor funeral home websites and online obituary notices. As soon as Beth's notice went up, the bots scraped all the names and the details.
And then what? They just reposted it on their own site?
No, that would be too honest. And it would trigger copyright flags. They used AI to rewrite it. They turned her life and death into content. But the AI, as AIs do, it hallucinated, or just guessed to fill in the blanks in the story. It wrote fake obituaries. And in some of them, it wrote that Brian, her still living partner, had also died.
So Brian is actively grieving the loss of his partner, and suddenly he's getting calls from friends thinking he is dead.
Yes, because the friends searched for Beth's name to find the funeral details, and the clickbait death sites had better SEO than the actual funeral home. They were ranking higher on Google.
Of course they were.
These sites use these grotesque, optimized headlines, like shocking death or weird illness, to get the click. And people clicked, thinking they were getting information.
It's ad arbitrage again, isn't it?
It is pure arbitrage.
Yeah.
They pay a fraction of a cent to Google Ads to get the click, and they serve you a page that is plastered with 50 programmatic ads that generates 2 cents in revenue. They're monetizing the confusion and the pain of real people to earn fractions of pennies at scale.
There is no bottom. There really is no bottom to this.
There is no bottom, and the regulatory response is, frankly, laughable. There was a case mentioned in the Turing Institute discussion about a site called Conservative Bear.
Conservative Bear. Sounds legitimate, a real pillar of the journalistic community, I'm sure.
Run by a Canadian operator. It was just pumping out fake news, disinformation, scraped obituaries, you name it. Eventually he got caught. He lost the website. The domain was taken down.
Okay, so some consequences.
But he kept his Google AdSense account.
You're kidding me. So they took away the car, but they let him keep his driver's license and gave him the keys to a new one.
Exactly. The core infrastructure of the internet, Google Ads, the programmatic ad exchanges, they are the fuel for this entire fire. As long as the money flows, the platforms have very little incentive to actually stop the rot. They will play whack-a-mole with the specific sites, but they won't turn off the tap.
It's because the platforms take a cut of the grift, don't they?
It's usually around 30%. Why would they ever stop it? It's found money for them.
We've talked about the grift and the fake products and the fake grief, but we need to talk about the political dimension of this. Because if you can mobilize an army of bots to sell a fake toilet, you can absolutely mobilize them to sell a fake narrative.
And this is where the dead internet stops being just annoying and pathetic and starts being genuinely dangerous to, society. The UNSW data highlights this explicitly. We are looking at disinformation and the weaponization of the echo chamber.
How does the strategy work? Is it just spamming vote for candidate X a million times?
It's more subtle than that. It's about creating what they call legitimacy through volume. Think about it. If you see a political post with 0 likes and no comments, you subconsciously ignore it. You assume it's garbage.
Right. It has no social proof.
But if you see a post with 10,000 likes and 500 comments, all furiously agreeing with it, your brain, your social animal brain thinks, wow, this is a popular opinion. Maybe I should listen. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong.
Even if the 10,000 likes are from a bot farm in a data center somewhere, and the 500 comments are just ChatGPT talking to itself in slightly different voices.
Precisely. We saw this with Russian disinformation campaigns on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. The reports detail over 10,000 bot accounts posting pro-Kremlin content. But they weren't just random accounts with egg avatars. They were attributed to US and European celebrities to give them more weight.
So they were actively impersonating real people.
Or just using the names to trick the search algorithms and lend credibility. The ultimate goal is the silo effect. The algorithms are designed to keep you on the platform. They want you scrolling. To do that, they feed you what you want to hear. If you show even a little bit of skepticism about, say, 5G technology, the algorithm will register that engagement signal.
And then the bots swarm.
The bots swarm.
Huh.
They amplify content that confirms your bias. There was a quote from a Reddit user in the source material that really stuck with me. They said, and I'm paraphrasing, if everyone was a bot gaslighting me when I post about 5G being deadly, I'd probably be swayed into thinking it was safe. Or the other way around. If you were surrounded by an army of bots all agreeing with you, you drift further and further from reality.
You lose the baseline. You don't know where the center is anymore because the room you're standing in is populated entirely by manufactured hallucinations.
And when you look at a stat from the UNSW report that 46% of 18 to 24-year-olds get their news primarily from social media, and you combine that with the fact that half of social media is bots, reality becomes subjective. It becomes a choose-your-own-adventure book, but the adventure is written by a foreign propaganda machine.
It's interesting you mentioned Reddit because there is this huge sentiment growing online. We saw it all over the Explain Like I'm 5 threads that Google is dying. People are noticing this decay.
The Google is dying sentiment is the user-side reaction to the dead internet. It's the public finally realizing that you can't find human advice anymore. If you search for something simple, like best running shoes, what do you get?
I get 10 pages of SEO spam. Garbage articles written by AI, hosted on content farms that were registered 6 months ago, listing the shoes that happen to pay the highest affiliate commission on Amazon.
Right. You don't get a real runner saying, these gave me shin splints, or these are great, but only if you have wide feet. You get, the Nike Pegasus is a shoe that is good for running. It has laces and a sole. Here's an Amazon link. It's just filler. It's text designed to wrap around an ad.
That's why I do it. That's why everyone I know adds Reddit to the end of every single search now. Best running shoes Reddit. It's a command.
It's a desperate plea for humanity. Site.reddit.com is the only way to find a human being who has actually used the product. We are retreating into these little walled gardens, these enclaves, because the open web, the searchable internet that we grew up with, is rapidly becoming a Potemkin Village. It looks like a library from the outside, but all the books are blank.
And there's link rot, too, which is another part of this. The internet is actually shrinking in terms of accessible history.
Yes. The Turing Institute touched on this. Links break. Old forums and websites go down. And instead of being archived, the domains are bought up by squatters and filled with AI slop to capture any remaining search traffic. So the past is being actively erased and replaced with fake content.
It feels like we're living in a digital aquarium.
That is a very, very apt metaphor. It's a completely artificial environment. We are being fed brightly colored flakes of content by a giant unseen hand, and we are all just swimming around in circles thinking we are in the ocean.
So, let's try to wrap this up and look at the verdict. We started this whole thing with the strong versus the weak theory, the grand conspiracy versus the boring reality.
And I think we have landed firmly on the weak theory being the reality. It's not a sci-fi conspiracy. It's not the Matrix. It's just boring late-stage tech capitalism. It's efficient. It's immensely profitable. And it's completely soulless.
The internet isn't dead like a rock is dead. It's dead like a zombie is dead.
Exactly. It's moving. It's loud. It's consuming brains, or at least attention spans. But there is no soul. There is no intent behind the movement. It's just code, executing code in a loop for money.
So what does this mean for the listener, for the person who is actually and hopefully biologically engaging with this audio file right now? What's the takeaway?
It raises a pretty profound philosophical question. If a bot writes a post, and a different bot reads that post, and a third bot likes it, did it actually happen?
And more importantly, does it even matter?
To the advertisers? Yes. The impression was served. To us? No. What it really means is that the public square is dead. The idea that the internet is a place where we all come together as a global village to discuss ideas, that's gone. It's a fiction.
So what do we do?
We're already doing it. We are retreating. We're retreating into private group chats. We are retreating to Discords, to specific subreddits, to encrypted messaging apps. We are hiding from the open web because the open web is a landfill.
It's a landfill of AI slop.
And we are the seagulls, just trying to find one real French fry in all the garbage.
I want to leave the listener with one final, deeply cynical thought from the research. There was a Reddit user who said, "I interact with bots because real people are too dense."
That is the real danger, isn't it? That's the end game. The bots are polite. The bots will always agree with you. The bots are available 24/7. They never get angry or illogical. Maybe the bots are the better conversationalists now.
That is a genuinely terrifying thought. So I guess here's my advice to you. Check if you're the only one breathing in the room. Don't you dare click on the shrimp Jesus. And if you see an obituary for yourself online, don't panic. It's just SEO.
It's just business.
Thanks for diving in with us. Try to stay human out there.
If you still can.